Hello. Do 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 do. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Are we good? Do do. Hello, Alexis Morningstar. To answer your question, madman, madman arrived now in the thumbnail. Yes, that is a Charlie the Unicorn shirt. And if some of you guys are probably wondering, how come you're wearing a different shirt than what you're wearing in the thumbnail? Well, I scheduled this like 3 or 4 days ago. I'm not wearing the same shirt. So, uh, Isan Chowdhury says, "Hey, been watching you for a while now. I appreciate it. Very, very glad to hear that. Hello to you too, Pixel Pony. What's up? The ceiling, that's what's up. You know." Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Yeah, I think I got the webcam set up well and the microphone set up well. Hi to you too, Audie Webster. Doo-doo. Hello to you too, Inej Gaffa. I'm sorry if I pronounce any of your names wrong. I hope you and your partner are doing okay, especially during these hard times. How's the card game going? We're doing all right. Like, my partner's dealing with a lot right now, but she's the strongest person I know, and I know she'll get through it. Card game's going pretty good. We're at a bit of a crossroads with how the template design is working right now, and I just hope it ends up in a way that we can all be happy with. Not the dad jokes already. You know what channel this is. You know what I do here. Things you can say to YouTubers, but not people on the street. I've been watching you for a while now. I love that. That's wonderful. Heyo, Andrew, nice to see you. I get to be home for one of your streams instead of at the hellscape I call my job. Well, congrats, man. My ears are ringing. Either it's the vaccine or Gasha Dokuro is prowling here. Well, let's hope it's the former. You do not want to have your skeleton added to Gasha Dokuro's body. For those of you who don't know, Gasha Dokuro is a gigantic skeleton in Japanese mythology who goes to battlefields, grabs the dead bodies, and adds their skeletons to him. It's okay. Mine is a character name. Cool. Hello to you too, Alfred Jacobson. Hello to you too, Austin Miller. I'm the husband of Freya. I wish, but no, I'm the husband of Freya's daughters. Okay, cool. Say the F word. The F word. There, I said it. Hi to you too. Oh, now the chat's moving pretty quick. Okay, all right. I'm going to keep up as best I can. Hello, Waffle Cult. Hello, Eleanor. Hello, Leshy Girl. Oh, Yuki's here. Nice. Hestia is Bestia. Now that we've established that as the greeting, how's it going? Battle of the Twins. Who would win, Apollo or Artemis? Ooh. Who would win? And this is from Space Jesus. I would probably say Artemis, since Artemis spends all her time hunting, as opposed to Apollo, who Apollo's jobs are good too, but he spends his time, pulling the sun chariot. Of course, she pulls the moon one, but he spends more time, I would think, playing music and hooking up with women, whereas Artemis is out there constantly honing her skills. So I think she would win in a fight. Does Hades have any kids? If he does, who are they? Yeah, I made a video about that. Zagreus from the Hades game is based on an actual character in Greek mythology. Hades does have a son named Zagreus, and I think he's like a harvest god or something, so he's not as badass as he is in the Hades game, but he exists. And he also has a daughter named Melanoe, and he has a couple other daughters. But Melanoe is pretty cool. You should check her out if you want to see a cool child of Hades. Have you read Dune? No, I know nothing about Dune. Apollo drinks his respect women juice. I don't think he does, guys. I mean, have you read some of his stories? Why do all the married people other than Hades hate their partner, bro? Well, they don't. Dionysus doesn't hate his wife. Eros and Psyche don't hate each other. Are you going to talk about the card game? Sure, if people want to hear about it. Like, this is a Q&A. I'm here to answer you guys' questions. And for this one, I'm just going to interact with the chat, and we'll see how that goes, honestly. Yeah, I didn't make a video ahead of time saying put your questions here. I'm just going to do the chat for this one and see how it goes. And then you guys can let me know what you think, if you think it's better to do it the other way. What are some good Greek mythology books to study for beginners? I've said this 100 times, and I'll say it 100 more. Dowleri's Greek Myths, I think, is the perfect starting book for people. Hey, Marinus, good to see you. Dowleri's Greek Myths, I think, is the perfect starting book for beginners in Greek mythology. I think that's the perfect place to start. Also, like some good writers for when you're trying to get into different mythologies are Jake Jackson and Matt Clayton. And they're all in, I've got them all linked in my book section of the Amazon store page. Have you played Immortals Phoenix Rising? Not yet. I'm going to soon, though. How is life going for you, King Andrew? I'm not a king. Yeah, Sekhmet's over here like he ain't no king. He ain't no king. Ra is the real king. That's what she's thinking. John's up here like, I should have been king, but I wasn't. How can someone learn about Aztec mythology? Again, Jake Jackson and Matt Clayton write good books. My first book learning about Aztecs was actually Horrible Histories, The Angry Aztecs, and that's also on the Amazon store page I made. So honestly, guys, if you want to find good books for getting into mythology, just go to any of my previous videos, go to the description and click the Amazon store link, and I've got a whole list there of books I recommend. I made for you guys, so that you guys, for any of you who wanted to learn mythology. And if you do plan on buying any of those books, please consider buying them through my store page, because then I get a tiny cut of what you guys buy. You know, and that's, you know, I think I get like 5 cents per purchase. And that's money I can use to, you know, get better equipment. Jake Jackson is the new Mr. Worldwide. I guess you could say that. Is there an old story about a blind hero? Well, there's Tiresias in Greek mythology. I'm sure there are some other ones too, but I don't know of that. Or at least none are coming to mind right now. You guys, if you know of anybody. Yo, it's Aaron Abraham Lincoln. Hey, he's back. Aaron Abraham from the Lore Olympus live reading, right? Yeah. Good to see you again. What's your favorite aspect of Egyptian mythology? Ooh, the animals merged with people. I'm a big fan of chimera-like stuff, so I really actually do like that Egyptians like to merge animals together. So that's probably my favorite aspect of Egyptian mythology. Hey, Gamer Cockatron the Potato Salad Elf is here, giving me a £2 donation. Thank you so much. Greetings. Have to head out early today. You're great. Oh, well, I'm sorry you have to head out early. It's always so nice when you're here. But thank you so much for that. That's really sweet of you to say. Have you ever played Smite? Yes, I used to play it. I tried really hard to get into it, but I didn't really like the MOBA. I'm not a big fan of MOBA gameplay. Where are the beans? I still don't have them, guys. I still don't have them. Next time. Okay, I promise next time. That's what I'm setting that in stone. Next time there will be beans. Oh yeah, yay us Egyptians. Well, there you go. Chimeras, huh? I'm getting flashbacks. Oh man, this thing is moving. This thing is moving really fast. Oh yeah, what was this? How goeth the Izanagi and Izanami I'm a Believer parody? I saw her face and I had to leave her. Yeah, I really do love that idea. It's hard to make a musical parody because you actually need someone playing music, and neither me nor any of my friends play instruments. So, or well, I'm sure some of my friends do, but like neither me nor my partner nor Zaggard play instruments. So that's those are like my immediate people who usually help me out. I'm waiting for the beans. Well, you'll see them eventually. How well do you know Celtic myths? I know them pretty well. Like, I read a couple books on Celtic mythology. Like the gods, the battles between Lu of the Long Arm and the Fomorians. Balor of the Evil Eye, the Dagda, the Morrigan. I read the stories of Finn McCool, Cuchulainn, King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table. So and basic creatures like witches and changelings, fairies. Like, do you like Mad Max? I like Fury Road. I honestly, after I saw Fury Road, I was like, dang, I got to check this series out. And I watched all the other ones, and I didn't really. I don't know if it's just because they're really dated, but I didn't really get into them. I did not like the first one, honestly. I don't know why that one is so popular. People are like, it's a revenge story, and the revenge doesn't happen until the last 10 minutes of the film. It's like the revenge story doesn't even start until the last 10 minutes of the film. I don't get the appeal. Do you play Smite? I answered that I used to. Yeah, I'm sorry. The chat's moving pretty quick, so if you ask a question and I don't answer it, maybe just try asking it again in a couple minutes. When are you doing the next Lore Olympus reading? People seem to really like that, and I had a lot of fun doing it with you guys. So I might try to make it a monthly thing, like how this is a monthly thing. So I'm maybe sometime in July. Have you seen the Yu-Gi-Oh! Egyptian God cards? Oh, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! All the time. In fact, I still have my deck right here. Yeah, it was a dragon deck. Big Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. I love it. Yeah, I know Pot of Greed is kind of banned now, but I still had it in my original deck. Oh, and by the way, we since in the anime they always fracking tell you what Pot of Greed does. So whenever my brother and I would play Yu-Gi-Oh, we would make fun of that. We would always, every time we'd play Pot of Greed, we'd be sure to say what it does. We'd be like, now I play Pot of Greed, which allows me to draw 2 new cards from my deck. That was always fun. The Norse have Asgard, the Greeks have Olympus. What do the Egyptians have? They have the Duat, I believe. Yeah, don't the Egyptian gods reside in a section of the Duat? The thing about the Duat is it's so all-encompassing in Greek mythology. It's like every section of the underworld, but it's also the realm of the gods and stuff. Well, I guess you could also say the Egyptians, Ra resides on the sun, doesn't he, in his myth? Or he has the sun with him while he's on his boat. It's a little confusing where exactly they are. Who is the worst god in Greek? You guys keep asking me to pick on mythical characters. Even I love mythology so much, it's always hard for me to say who is the worst god. But I've told you before, my least favorite god is Hera. Even though I don't even hate Hera, she's just my least favorite. What can you tell us about Flavian Destiny with Titus, Dominican, and the New Testament? I can tell you I'm a pretty bad Christian because I don't even think I've ever read the entire Bible, so so I'm not sure. Yeah. Have you played anything from Shin Megami Tensei series? No, but it's on my list of things to check out because people keep recommending it. Have you ever played Fallout 4? Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. How you can pretty much choose to do almost anything. You can encounter an important character and just kill him. It's pretty cool. And then there's Fallout 76, which is bad, and the creator should feel bad. I have a question. Who would win, Odin or Zeus? People ask this all the time. If I had to pick, probably Odin, because Odin is more of a jack of all trades, and on top of that, the Norse Aesir are built for battle and constantly training for it. Whereas the Greek gods I think they spend a lot more time relaxing and partying. Release date for the card game yet? I can't, look, guys, I'm not going to give you a concrete release date until I know that that's a fact. Because I don't want to just say, you know what, this is the release date, and then have to constantly push it back, delay it, and annoy you guys. I don't like to do that. I will tell you what we're aiming for. We're aiming to release the game by the end of this year. That's what we're trying to do. So if nothing goes wrong, hopefully you guys will be able to buy your game this year. Um, know any stories of JC and the boys? I assume you're talking about Jesus Christ. Well, yeah, I know the basic stories. The whole, how he meets them, how he, multiplies bread and fish, turns, water into wine, how he brings a guy back from the dead, how he cures a dude's blindness, how he flips out when he realizes a holy place has been turned into a marketplace. One of you is going to betray me. Oh, Judas, how could you? But you'll deny knowing me 3 times. I know the basic story. Who has better pranks, Hermes or Loki? Oh, God, that's a good question. I feel like it would probably be Loki because Loki goes more extreme with his pranks, Like, I mean, does that make it better, though? Like, when people die because of your pranks? Are there any gods from different mythologies you would like to see interact? Ooh. I mean, I guess mainly just Greek and Norse. I feel like those 2 mythologies would throw down. How mad does mythology being told... Wait, sorry, hold on, I lost told different make you? It doesn't make me mad, unless you're trying to pass it off as actual, mythology, and you're obviously making stuff up. Like when somebody wrote like a fan fiction about Hades having a daughter who's not actually in mythology, and that's fine, but they tried to pass it off as actual myth, and that's where it becomes a problem. How did you get into mythology? Oh, this appears every live stream. When I was 3, my mother would read me from Dowleri's Greek myths. Instead of fairy tales, I got myths, and I got really into it. And I really loved them. That book was one of the first books I read all the way through. Got me really into Greek mythology, and from then on, anytime I could find anything on Greek mythology, I'm 27. You can stop asking now. And so, yeah, then I would read any Greek myth I could find after that. And, then my parents got me a game called Age of Mythology that got me into Egyptian and Norse, and it kept going from there. What do you think of the new Marvel Loki series? Zagard and I have been making videos on what we think of every episode, and they're all on this channel, so you can go check those out, they're under reviews / discussions of myth-based stuff like that. That's what I think of the series. Like, we've got whole episodes talking. We've got videos talking about each episode. Please make more Indian mythology videos, please. I promise you, there's going to be more. It's if people are wondering why I make so many Greek myth videos, it's because that's the mythology I know the best. And let's be honest, it's kind of the easiest target. Like, there's so many things that you can point out in Greek mythology that are funny, or so many things that are easy to make funny. So it's like it's like, how could I not, like, when you think about certain Greek stories, it's like, how can I not make a joke about this? Do you know everything about Brynhilde, the famous Valkyrie? I cannot say I know everything about any of the Valkyries. I don't think I know everything about any character, honestly. But, I know the basic rundowns of the Valkyries and, who they are and what they do, obviously. What was the first mythology you were introduced to? Greek, from Dowleri's Greek Myths. Have you ever thought about writing books on different gods and goddesses of different mythologies? And can't wait for the game to come out. I'm glad you're excited for the card game to come out. I have thought about that. And the way it might happen is, in the future, like if the card game is successful and stuff, I would love to release like a lore book alongside the card game, and that would be me writing what I know about the different characters from mythology, and hopefully it would help people know about the cards they're playing with. Could you try to make some videos about England or Germany mythology? Really don't know much about it. I'm part German, mostly English, so I'd like to find out some stuff. Yeah, I could do that. I could try to do that. Keep in mind though, English does tie into Celtic a little bit, so I've I've kind of done it, but yeah, I could try to focus that a little more, English and German. I think I've had some people request it in the past, so yeah, it's definitely in my agenda. I got some mythological cryptid books as a kid. Definitely sparked my love of myth. What's your favorite obscure cryptid? Like, what's my favorite obscure myth? Um, you know, Probably just because it's like some of my favorite obscure myths are just because they're funny. The fact that there's a Lord of Beans, Kiamides, and oh god, the battle between Set and Horus with the lettuce. Here's the thing: it's disgusting, but it's also hilarious that that's a thing. If you and I'm not going to describe that story right now, but if you don't know about the weird battle between Set and Horus, I did a video on it called Set and Horus's Weirdest Battle. Can you do some Scottish myths and legends? I have. I've talked about the Kelpie, the Knuckleavy, Celtic myth. Do you have plans to make the card game online? Yeah, that's the big end goal, honestly. I would love to make a full-fledged video game based on the card game where people can, collect digital cards and play online with people. I think, it would make it a lot easier, to play the game that way. And I'd love to throw a story mode in there. I've already been thinking about, the story mode. If you could kill one god, I wouldn't, that's, I don't think I'm ready for that kind of fallout, you guys. Oh my god. The ad is in the way. Where? Is there an ad on the stream? I didn't know that. Huh. It's weird. I mean, I can't see it, so I don't know. I'll have to take a look later and see how that looks. How can I make people not scared of me? Please, I'm lonely. Oh, this is Morose. Don't tell them your name, and maybe they won't be scared of you. When is Wilda coming back to the channel? She pops in occasionally, and I love having her here. But this month, a lot's been going on this month. So, like last couple months, I asked her to be on the stream with me. She was happy to do it, and we scheduled around it. But this month, because I devoted like a whole live stream to the Lore Olympus thing, it kind of pushed back this Q&A, and it got to the point where month was almost over. So I was like, oh no, I have to do one of these every month because it's for you guys, and I don't want you guys to miss out on one. So I just scheduled it and told her, hey, I'm doing the Q&A on this day, and she was like, okay, sounds good, but I've got to work that day. I was like, okay, yeah. What are Kelpies? Watch Crazy Creatures Kelpie. That's a video I made. That's where I talk all about it. Which two gods would you fuse? Never thought of that. Huh. Imagine fusing Zolot and Quetzalcoatl into Zolotl and Quetzalcoatl into one character. For those who don't know, those are in Aztec mythology. Those are a deadly wolf god and the feathered serpent god. And just picture like wolf up front with like serpent fangs, and then the back half of him is the big serpent tail. I think that would be pretty cool. So I'd probably fuse Quetzalcoatl and Zolotl. Do you like demonology or archangelology? I haven't really gotten into it yet, but I do plan to learn more about it. If Kratos was in Percy Jackson in movies, I mean, if Kratos was there, it would be a completely different story. I don't think Percy could beat Kratos. Who would win, Kratos, Thor, or God? Are you talking about like my God? I would say the man upstairs would definitely win that fight, because he's omnipotent and omniscient. You can't really beat that. Have you seen modern Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Yes, and they make me sad. I hate what Yu-Gi-Oh has become. I think it's ruined now. I hate these stupid synchro summons, pendulums, links, and XYZs. Like they've completely changed the game, and I don't like it anymore. I just want to play the game the old-fashioned way. And I thought I could do that when that app Duel Links came out, but even that for some reason has changed the gameplay. They've lessened the amount of cards you can have present, or the amount you can have in your hand, or the amount of life points. I don't know why they did that. I think that ruined the game. So I don't know why we can't just play Yu-Gi-Oh the old-fashioned way. Question: if you were to start a series about correcting people about Thor, wait, hold on a sec. If you were to start a series about correcting people about Thor or Norse mythology in general, would you call it Thorecting or something else? I mean, I don't think if I did a series like that, I don't think it would just be about Thor. So I think it would be mythology stuff in general. So even though I love that name, probably have to name it something else. Oh, how about I would probably call it Correcting Mistakes. Like mistakes, but mistakes. I think that would be funny. I wrote a short story about a girl who lived in Athens who got no proper funeral. She sings along the banks of Styx, and Thanatos is curious that she's happy despite barred entrance to the underworld. That sounds awesome. You should publish that. That sounds like a great story. Lol, the man upstairs. Yeah, that's what I call him sometimes. What's your favorite race in D&D? I don't know. The D&D characters I've made have been a bugbear, a human, and a dark elf. So I'll just say bugbear for default because my character Salmonella Shunte, yeah, that's what I named him, is a bugbear janitor sorcerer. Yeah, I'm weird. I make weird characters. How many cards do you intend to make at launch? There's going to be around 700 at launch, between 6 and 700. Mistakes. Yeah, I hope you guys like that idea. What do you think about modernizing gods? This question is more for Greek mythology. I mean, you can. It depends on the story you're doing. Like really. Oh my God, Zagard! Thank you for the $50 donation. That's so sweet of you. So I'm gonna have to read this out loud now. Zagard says, and I quote: "Squawk, squawk, 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 squawkity squawk, draconic best D&D race." Y'all get that? Good. What was I talking about before that? Oh, God, I don't even remember. What's your favorite god overall? Hades. I've said that several times. Hades is my favorite. He was my favorite as a kid. He's my favorite now. What do you think of the depictions of mythological figures in Type Moon series or similar anime series? Haven't seen Type Moon. I've seen Record of Ragnarok, though, and I did a whole video about that. And, they're a lot of fun. Obviously, they're different from how they are in mythology, but it's still a lot of fun to see how they're depicted and how, like, the creative stuff they do with them. Yahweh is the name of the Abrahamic God. I know that. I just call him the man upstairs. Should Kratos kill the man upstairs? He wouldn't be able to. And no, he definitely shouldn't. What's your favorite type of cheese? Powdered cheddar. Squawk, squawk indeed. Well, 700 cards sounds okay. I'm playing Legends of Runeterra, and I think that's how many they started with. Okay, good to know. What's your favorite type of mythology? Again, I get asked this all the time. My favorite type of mythology, I have to default to Greek because it was my first one. It's the one I know the best, and my favorite god is in it. So even though it's really hard for me to pick because I do love other mythologies, one of my other favorites is Japanese because of how crazy it is. Like, I love Japanese, but honestly, I love all of the mythologies. It's really hard for me to pick favorites. But yeah, I would default to, Greek for that reason, and Japanese because, it's really crazy and cool. What is your type of mythology? You mean like, what do I believe in? I'm Christian, so I guess you could say that's my type of mythology. Favorite primordial? Tartarus. I think Tartarus is really cool. I know everyone else's is Nyx. I think Nyx is cool too, but I like the idea of Tartarus, how he's a prison for, like, evil characters, but he's also alive. Like, I just think, God, that's so creepy and cool. Celtic is my favorite. Good for you. What's your favorite bread? Garlic bread. Hey, who would make a good Disney Hercules replacement? I'm thinking Krishna, the limits semi-god prophet and such, and Avatar. Yeah, I think a Disney movie about Krishna could be amazing. I would love to see that, honestly. I think Krishna should get a movie like that. What's your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh archetype or card based on myth? Okay, so the Yu-Gi-Oh cards based on myth aren't even close, honestly. So I never even thought of that. But my favorite type in Yu-Gi-Oh was always dragon. That's why I built a dragon deck. Another idea for the card game. Maybe you should try and make up. I'm sorry if I'm not like taking my time super with these questions. I'm just trying to get to as many as possible. Maybe you should try and make updates that provide support, like for like the archetypes, if any exist in the game. Again, thanks for the good videos. Well, I'm glad you enjoy them so much. Well, like, the game's gonna be, receive new cards constantly if it succeeds. So there's always gonna be more stuff you want to build decks around. If you could be any type of god, what type of god would you be? Again, question that's been asked a lot. But I would be a god who just wants to give people a good time. I would be like maybe a party god or a god of good fortune, because I would be I think I'd be the kind of god who wants people to have fun. That's what I would be. Like, I would probably be like a Dionysus or something like that. I'd just come down and be like, let's all have fun. Let's have a good time. Especially like people who are really stressed out after a long day at work. I'd probably come down to them and I'd just freeze time for them and be like, there, see, now you're not going to miss any deadlines. Let's have a good time. Have you read Magnus Chase? Yes, I've read all of them. I had a good time with them. Why are you interested in mythology? Because it's awesome. Like I said, my mom read it to me when I was little, and how can you not get into that, If you could see a tag duel between 4 gods, who would it be? Oh my god. You guys really giving me questions I have to think about. Tag duel between 4 gods. Well, I'm thinking Thor would be one because his raw power is amazing. Maybe either Bast or Sekhmet would be another, because those two are total badasses, and the way they fight would be so different from how Thor would fight. So that would be another one. So I'm just gonna say Thor, Bast, maybe Hachiman from Japanese mythology. Oh, and Sun Wukong. All right, sure. So tag duel between those 4. That'd be interesting. Sorry, this is a repeated question, but which Hades in media is the best and which is the worst? I don't think Hades has ever been done well in the media, honestly. Well, I guess the closest one would be the Hades game. I guess that one did him pretty well, so we can say that's the best. And which is the worst? Disney Descendants. We'll say that's the worst. Disney Descendants. Amaterasu versus Ra. Answer Supernova. You're absolutely right. But I do think if they fought, Ra would win. Based on their stories. Amaterasu's not really a big fighter, as evidenced by, what went down between her and Susanoo. Ra, however, I think Ra battles Apophis every single day. I think Ra would win that fight, honestly. The Kelpie has a counterpart in Sweden called the Bakahastan. Yeah, I've had people mention that before. Like people were requesting I make a video about that creature, and I looked it up and I found out it was the Kelpie again. So I was like, oh, well, I've already done this. I wonder how often you find overlapping or similar beings in different mythology. Oh, all the time. Especially in Asian myths. Asian myths cross over and overlap with each other a lot. I think the main place where it happens is with China and Japan. Hades needs a film where he's a good guy. Yeah, I'm down to see that. What's your favorite Pokemon? It's a cross between Mewtwo and Charizard. Those are my 2 favorites. I always thought those 2 were incredibly cool, and I love dragons, so Charizard, and I know some of you are thinking he's not a dragon. Oh, shut up, he's a dragon. I thought Mewtwo looked cool. Is there an approximate release date for the card game? As I said, we're hoping to release it this year. That's what we're aiming for, but don't hold me to that, because here's the thing: we've never done this before. So we're not experts on this. We're not a AAA studio. We don't entirely know what to expect. We'll see what happens. What mythology do you think is the hardest to study? Oh God, yeah. There's been some hard ones. Hindu can be difficult sometimes because the Hindu stories are very long, but they're awesome. So that it helps. But yeah, there is a lot of symbolism and codes and a lot of long poetry in Hinduism, which can be which can be difficult for some people. But then here's the thing. But then Hinduism is also so awesome, like with the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Like those have such cool stories in them, so maybe it's not that hard. But one mythology I had difficulty finding info on and understanding was freaking Zoroastrianism. My God, that because somebody requested I do it, so I did it, and it was pretty hard for me to find info on it and absorb it properly. So let's just say Zoroastrianism. African is the hardest. I don't know about that yet. I haven't gone too deep into African. Loki versus Utgard Loki. It's hard to say who would win because they never even fought. Probably Utgard Loki because he even fooled Loki with his illusions. So yeah, I would say Utgard Loki would win that fight. Did you go to college? Where do you work? Also, kind of personal question as opposed to the last two. Would you want to make a family? Oh, I dropped out of college. I wasn't getting anywhere. Honestly, it was a hard decision to make, but I realized that I wasn't accomplishing anything while I was in college. That doesn't mean you guys shouldn't go to college. College is for certain people, and certain people get a lot out of it, but I wasn't getting anything out of it. Honestly, it was just, I felt like I was wasting time and money, so I dropped out of college. Where do I work? I do this right now. This is my work right now. Thankfully, so far I'm able to get by, and hopefully someday it'll get to the point where, I can, give you guys supreme quality content. Would I ever want to start a family? Yeah. I've wanted to my whole life, basically. I'd love to have kids, especially because I've got all these dad jokes. Hello. Oh, man. Have you ever read Slavic mythology? Yeah, I mean, I've done 3 videos about it, so, I would have to read it to do videos about it. Have you ever heard of Otoheim Gitsune from Japanese mythology? I don't think I know that one. Granted, in my defense, there is so many creatures in Japanese mythology. I don't think anybody knows them all. Do you have any favorite mythology ships? Yeah, Naglfar. I think Naglfar is awesome and creepy and the ship that will ferry all the villains into Ragnarok. I think that's awesome. How will you balance the game? Oh, there's such a long... Well, basically what I try to make it is characters who have high power levels, characters who have really low power levels have really good abilities in the game. So it's he's not going to do too well in a fight, but he has an ability that's going to screw your opponent's characters up anyway. That's kind of how I try to handle it. I already answered the Slavic mythology question. You can stop asking it now. The king didn't go to college. We must never set foot... Oh my God. Like I said, it's a case-by-case basis. Have you played Kingdom Hearts? Hell to the yeah! That's my favorite series of all time. Video game series of all time. That's what... I have a Kingdom Hearts shirt in some of my videos. And I have Kingdom Hearts figures up on my shelves for... you can probably see them in the background of some of my videos. What is in your background? Oh, well, Jon Snow, some Riordan and Riordan Presents books, Star Wars from a certain point of view. That was a gift from my partner. I love that book so much. Riddle of the Sphinx, got that at a bookstore, and I'm excited to read it. some Egyptian tarot cards I borrowed from a friend for research purposes, a bunch of DC comics, some antacid, water bottle, Star Trek, some gifts, Enchantress and Joker, the Left Behind series that I'm still reading, Darth Plagueis the book, a PlayStation controller, Sekhmet, and the Kane from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. That's what's in my background. Okay, book series related to mythology besides Percy Jackson. There's an Aztec mythology book series that's pretty cool. What the heck is it called? I think it's just called Aztec. I think that's the name of the series. There's also a book called The Anansi Boys, which I'm excited to check out, which is pretty cool. And if you're just saying besides Percy Jackson, there's Magnus Chase, Kane Chronicles, Trials of Apollo, yada yada yada. But yeah, there's also what's that series called? Doggone it. There is a mythology series. You should check out the books by Madeline Miller. Circe and Song of Achilles. Those books are wonderfully written. And yeah, again, you guys can always just check out my Amazon store link if you want to see some of the books I highly recommend. If you could write Percy Jackson here, a Riordan verse thing, would you change anything? If so, what and why? Would I change anything? What would I change in a Riordan verse series? I like the series as they are, honestly. I don't know what I would change. It's, I never, while reading the books, was thinking, oh, this should have been done this. I think the only thing I would change is, I guess there is a little too much retreading of stories of myths and what I mean by that is a lot of the times in the like Percy Jackson or Magnus Chase series, they'll encounter a character and have almost the exact same interaction with that character that went down in the myth. I guess a little more creativity there. That's the only thing I would probably change. Are you watching the new Loki series? Do you have predictions for the next episodes? Yes, I'm watching the Loki series. I have videos on every single episode here on this channel, which you guys can check out. Do I have predictions? Yes, I think Kang the Conqueror is involved. Because Ravonna is involved and she's clearly lying to the other people in Time Headquarters. So I think Kang is involved. What was that about overly sarcastic production? What do you think about overly sarcastic productions? I think they're great. And I think you guys should check them out if you haven't seen them. It's a great channel for learning mythology. I've seen a few of their videos and I like them very much. What do you think about the rationalized myths, like Cerberus being a dog from Tricranium, or Hades being a king called Aidoneus? This is honestly the first time hearing about that, so I don't know. I like them being mythical characters. I always prefer that. Who's your favorite from Egyptian mythology? Anubis. That's why I have a statue of him, which I have shown off in videos before. Do you think they're more interesting than the Greek ones? I prefer Greek as a whole, but I still love Egyptian to death. Yeah. Which mythology do you think would be a good Riordan verse book? I was wanting him very much to get into Aztec mythology. I haven't read Stormrunner yet, but I think that's Mayan. I don't think that's Aztec. But I would love to see either Aztec or Japan in the Riordan verse. Those are my two most wanted to pop up. Have you read SCP Foundation? No, I have not. Do you know about the creature, the Dahu, from Swiss, French, and Italian? I don't think so. No, I know about Don Nu from Celtic myth, but I don't know about Dahu. Do you think it's funny that Cerberus means spot? I thought it was funny the first time, and then people said it 700 more times, and now I'm just kind of tired of hearing it, honestly. People come every single time I make a video about Hades, there's at least 50 people who say, "Did you know Cerberus means spotted?" Yes, I know. What is your favorite movie in general? The Dark Knight. That's my favorite movie. That movie is fantastic. Joker is my favorite character in fiction, so I love that film so much. Stormrunner tackles a little Aztec. Oh, okay, cool. An Aztec book is planned for Rick Riordan Presents. All right, awesome. I'd love that. A friend recently told me that Hades and Persephone had an open marriage. Is that true? I've never heard anything of the sort. I don't think so, because if they had an open marriage, I don't know why Persephone would get so mad at Minthy and turn her into a mint and kill her. Like, so I personally highly doubt that they had an open marriage. I think that's just your friend trying to justify the fact that there are versions of the myth where they cheat on each other. So yeah, I don't think it's an open marriage. Who are the most wholesome gods from each mythology? Oh, that's well, like obviously I default to Hestia, but you want me to name the most wholesome gods in every single mythology? That's hard. I mean, in Hindu mythology, I don't know if wholesome is the word, but both Vishnu and Ganesh are very kind gods who try to help people. So you could say they're pretty darn wholesome. In Norse mythology, maybe Kvasir, the god of poetry. He's a very wholesome guy. It's sad what happened to him. Egyptian mythology. Who's wholesome in Egyptian? I mean, Bess, you could say, is pretty wholesome because he's like, you know how Hestia is the goddess of hearth and home? Bess, the god, is like the defender of home. He's the defender of people's homes. And that's a very wholesome and admirable like job to have. Oh yeah, Hanuman. Good point. Hanuman is a very wholesome god in Hindu mythology. Yeah, that's a good choice. That's a very good choice. Yeah, and I don't know, in Japanese mythology, like I don't know, one contender you could say is Hachiman because he's a defender of warriors. Like he protects people, he helps people, so that's pretty good. Do you prefer Frigg or Frigga? I don't have a preference. I don't really care. I've never really thought of that. Is Mayan mythology hugely different from Aztec mythology? It's pretty darn different, but I wouldn't call it hugely different because that's another mythology with that's another set of mythologies with a lot of overlap, kind of like China and Japan. They share a lot of the same creatures, even a lot of the same gods. Will the card game be available to foreign countries when it comes out? Especially the ones outside North America. My plan is for the game to ship worldwide. That's what I want because, especially, it's got mythologies worldwide. It should ship worldwide. The problem there is I'm gonna have to pass the shipping costs on to you guys, though. So hopefully your country doesn't have outstanding fines for that kind of stuff. I've been watching your vids for like 5 months already. Can't stop watching your vids. Keep up the work, man. Thank you, Swift Python. That's so nice to hear. What's your opinion on the new Percy Jackson series for Disney Plus? I hope it's good. We'll see. I mean, that's it's live action, right? So that honestly kind of worries me. I think the show would have been better in animation, honestly. You could have done so much more with it then. But I don't know. It's a show with tons of magic and godly stuff. Can they do that well on a live action TV budget? I honestly don't know. Is it true leprechauns love to dance on the bodies they kill after someone tries to steal their pot of gold? I have heard that before, so I think yes. I think, can I just say Andrew's voice is amazing? Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. And have you ever read about Lovecraft's Cthulhu gods? Yeah, the great old ones. A little bit, yeah, but not a ton yet. Who is the most attractive god in Egyptian mythology? Oh, obviously Bess. You know, the little dwarf guy who wears a Speedo. I mean, I want to have a threesome with Bess and Danny DeVito. That'll be the best three-way I've ever had in my life. My God, yeah. Bess. You know why his name is Bess? Because he's the best. Best. He should hang out with Hestia. Bestia. That's their couple name now. They're Bestia. Because Hestia is the caretaker of the home and Bess is the defender of the home. Oh, actually, they'd work wonderfully together. That's what Bestia is now. It's their couple name. Another one before my date with Hypnos. Good for you. How about Theseus and Pirithous being like Bill and but even dumber and less successful, and Theseus being the butt of all jokes. That sounds hilarious. Oh my God. Do you like tea? If so, what's your favorite kind? I think tea is fine, what's my favorite tea? Green tea ice cream. That's my favorite tea. Why is Hades depicted as Satan? But, whoa, wait, the question disappeared. Crap. But Anubis and Osiris aren't. Anubis actually is in a lot of media. Have you seen the Yu-Gi-Oh movie? And a lot of films and stuff depict Anubis as evil. So I would argue that Anubis is just as demonized as Hades is. Osiris isn't. Maybe because his story is so famous, So maybe that's the reason Osiris isn't. Make a Hestia's Bestia T-shirt. I won't stop asking. If I launch a merch line, I swear that'll be one of the shirts. It's got to be. Do you think? There went what I was reading. Do you think Angerboda could be the same person as Gulvig? Yeah, Loki eating the burnt heart myth. I don't think so. But I guess you could make that argument because because it's not the first time that's happened in Norse mythology. Freya and Frigg actually were the same character originally, but I prefer Frigg being different from Freya because I think it makes the setup more interesting. You should get Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's a game taking place in old. I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey actually. I just haven't played it yet. Mythology Guy, a video idea. I share the same opinion about your voice. Oh, thank you. That just crossed my mind. Create a longer video talking about mythology for people to go to sleep. Like a lullaby? Okay, I mean, that could be interesting. A mythology lullaby. What god do you think is the most intimidating / scary? Probably Huitzilopochtli. Huitzilopochtli, how he wiped out his hundreds of siblings after they, tried to kill his mother. So granted, he had a reason. But also the fact that, he demands human sacrifice. I just did a video about this. The fact that he demands human sacrifice, every day. And people... Here's the thing. Y'all can argue that, there's this Greek god is more intimidating or this other god is... But can you honestly name a god for me who demanded human sacrifice constantly that the people just gave, that tops Huitzilopochtli in intimidating factor. So I think I would still stand by what I said and maybe say Huitzilopochtli does the most intimidation and fear because of how his people reacted to him, My mom always tells me what is the difference between Greek and Norse mythology. Well, trust me, there's plenty of differences. It's harder to find, similarities. They're just look at the mythologies. They're almost nothing alike. What's your favorite monster and favorite villain in Tartarus or the underworld? Favorite monster, I've said this before. Some of my favorites are, I really like the Chimera. I really like creatures that are multiple creatures put together. So I really like stuff like the Chimera, the Baku, characters like that. Chimera is probably one of my high favorites. Who's my favorite villain who's in the underworld or Tartarus? I think one of the coolest villains in Tartarus is Iapetus. Iapetus, the Titan of pain and mortality. Yeah, he's pretty darn cool. So, yeah, I'd say he's one of them. Oh, I remember that vid. It was recent. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. What do you think about the fact that the church damaged pagan gods into demons? Well, that's just what people do. It's a way to people are still doing that today. You push your own agenda by demonizing the other one. It's human nature. People have always done it. It's not exclusive to the church. Every single culture has done it. So don't just honestly, I think when people say like the church is horrible for doing that and we should hate on the church, here's the thing, yeah, the church is wrong for doing that, but everyone does it. Everyone ever has always tried to push their own agenda by demonizing the opposition or just other people who exist. Look at politics, look at politicians, look at every single movement online. Like, no one has ever said, yeah, my movement is the movement you need, but my opposition is a good movement too. No one does that. Nobody does that. Have you made a video on Janus? Not a video specifically on Janus, but I think Janus is in the Roman Gods on Tinder video. So that's what I've done with Janus so far. I could do more with him. Some joke about choices or something. If you were a child of any god or goddess, who would it be? Well, that's not really up to me. But I took the mythical parent quiz, and you can see who my mythical parent is in that video. The video was called "Who's My Godly Parent Quiz," and that answers your question, I think. So yeah. What if Kratos was Disney? He wouldn't be. That would never happen. Well, unless you're talking about Kratos from mythology, the god of power. And in that case, I think he would be horrifically misrepresented like all the other gods were. Do you like Hades or Hell? I like Hades a lot more. Hell is cool too, but Hades is the way more interesting character in my opinion. Which weapon in Greek mythology would be great for Kong from the Monsterverse? Probably Mjolnir. Or oh no, what would be the perfect weapon for a giant monster like that? Would it be the Monkey King's staff? And you're probably thinking, what? Are you saying just because he's an ape? No, because the Monkey King's staff extends, so Kong could still use it. It could extend to fit his hand, and he could hit people with it. Have you seen the Percy Jackson musical? Not yet. Claire and I were thinking of watching it and doing a video about it because she's the musical theater person and I'm the mythology guy. So, it would be a good crossover like we did with Hadestown. And if you guys haven't seen our Hadestown review, you should head over to her channel, The Struggling Alto, and check it out. Because people keep still asking me what my thoughts are on Hadestown. I've already given them. Go to her channel and look at them. I just joined. Welcome! What would be a good book to start learning about Norse mythology? As I've said, just look at the book list I have on my Amazon store page. I've got a ton of books I recommend. Probably start with Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology. That's a good starter for people. Can I link God is Dead? Yeah, go ahead. For those who don't know, that's a comic series. Mythology Guy, would you think Hell and Hades would be a good couple? Well, I don't think Hell is his type, since he seems to have a thing for goddesses of springtime. So I honestly, I'm not sure. Rank your 5 most powerful sky gods. Also, what dog breed would be Cerberus? Okay, 5 most powerful sky gods. Jeez Louise. Okay, well, one of them would be Zeus, probably. Because here's the thing, like, my first thought was the primordial Uranus, but Uranus was defeated by Kronos. Kronos was defeated by Zeus, and Zeus is a sky god, and Zeus is more powerful than all the other Olympians, so I'd probably say Zeus is one of them. Is Newt? I don't think she's that powerful, because, Ra was able to tell her don't give birth, and she didn't until she won 5 more. Oh god, this is a hard question to answer. Zeus is one of them. Who else is an insanely powerful sky god? Oh my god. Also, what breed would Cerberus be? I don't know. I kind of picture him as a Rottweiler, especially after reading the Percy Jackson book. Have you seen the Fate series? No, I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list of things to check out. I don't know with the Sky Gods thing. I'll just keep it in the back of my head and try to answer more questions. Hey, yo, just came here. I love your shorts. Thank you so much, Stormy Owl. Glad to hear that. It's always nice to hear people like my stuff because I know they don't look like it, but I do put hard work into them a lot of the time, and so it's always wonderful to hear that people love them so much. It's super rewarding. It's so nice when I put a lot of work in a video and it comes out really good and it gets a good reaction. Always feels good. Which sun god would win in a fight? Oh god, first sky gods, now sun gods. Why you gotta ask me these questions that make me stop and think for so long? Oh god. Probably Tonatia. And let me explain why. Because Tonatia literally became the sun itself. So it's like the raw power of the entire sun would probably be able to beat the other sun gods. So I'm going to say Tonatia. Can someone please tell me how I can send a message directly to someone? Text, I guess. Okay, what if Kong from the Monsterverse used the Golden Fleece? How would he use it? Wrap it around his pinky? It wouldn't even fit. I don't think it would really do anything for Kong. Have you ever considered doing Native American mythology? I have. I've done a couple videos on Native American mythology. I did one called Native American Creatures. I did a video called Fun Fact About Wendigos. And people kept saying I was going to die because I said the word Wendigo, but I'm still here, so I guess I'm okay. Hey, can't stay for the live, but I wanted to wish you luck. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Why do you make the puns? That's why. Because I like to make you all suffer and torture all of you. No, because I love puns. Why not? Like, people like puns, and if you don't like puns, all the better, because then I torment you, and I like to do that. Are you familiar with Overly Sarcastic? I've already talked about that earlier. I love you, but I can't keep answering the same questions. I want to make sure everyone gets their questions answered. Who can beat any sun god? The answer is Maui. Oh, good point. Yeah. I lassoed the sun and then beat the living crap out of it. He did. If you are wondering what Freya's daughter I love the most is Gersemi. I even wrote a story about how I met her. Man, we got some writers in the chat today. Nice. Hey, I'm French and I like very much your work. Thank you so much. That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, well, thank you. I used to take French lessons, but I had a horrible teacher who wasn't even French, so I barely learned anything. Sorry about that. What's your favorite water/ocean deity? Man, I've never really thought about it. Water/ocean deity. Let's see. In Aztec, we've got Calciatlique. In Greek, we have Poseidon and Oceanus and Triton and Pontus and Tethys. Greek has so many ocean deities. Holy hell. A lot of ocean gods. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I really like Poseidon, but like people are going to get mad at me for saying that because of that Medusa story. But you know what? That Medusa story is an Ovid retelling, so screw it. I like Poseidon. What if Kratos teamed up with Kong? What is with Kratos and Kong in the chat today? If Kratos teamed up with Kong, then we'd get some cool fights against maybe, I don't know, giants or something, like Utgard Loki. That would be pretty badass. Kratos teamed up with Gaia, and we saw how those fights went. Those were pretty cool. I imagine him teaming up with Kong would be kind of like that, riding the fist as it punches and then jumping off the fist and stabbing. So I imagine it would be similar to how it was when he teamed up with Gaia. Have you read the Kingdom Hearts manga? No, but I really, really want to. Any chance you can make a video about Tupi-Guarani mythology or folklore from Brazil? This is actually the first time hearing of that. So I will take a picture of that for a note. Okay, so hopefully in the future I can do that. I'm a writer too. Good for you, Grim Reaper. Are you excited for God of War Ragnarok? Immensely. Is Kronos the god of time? Okay, so there's this huge freaking debate about whether like the Titan Kronos is the same as the deity Kronos. And honestly, I'm just going to say both are valid at this point, but I like to go with the whole Kronos of time and Kronos the Titan are the same character. That's what I like to say. By the way, I'm Greek, and I really like how you don't just say the really famous Greek stories like Hercules and stuff. Well, yeah, I think all the stories deserve recognition, and I'm glad that it makes you happy, especially since you're Greek. So very happy to hear that. Imagine Kratos with the powers of Sun Wukong. Holy hell. Marinus says, I'm a writer too. I write big story where some superpowered individuals train to use their powers in a magical academy. Oh, yeah, that sounds like that's a story that seems to work a lot in modern day storytelling. So best of luck to you. It's 2:30 a.m. where I live, but I can't stop watching. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it so much. Tyr versus Ares, who would win? I'm going to go with Ares just because Ares is more ruthless and probably has the better chance of winning a fight. So I'm getting a phone call, but obviously I can't answer that right now. I began Magnus Chase in the Neil Gaiman book, and I'm obsessed with it. Well, I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it so much. Are there any gods of games? Oh, dang, I'm so upset for not remembering because there is one, but what the heck was the name? Oh, frack! I think it was an Egyptian mythology. I'm sorry, I would have to look that up. I don't know for sure. What advice can you give to me? I'm having writer's block. Do you know if pirates had their own mythology? Well, yeah, they had the Kraken. They believed in sirens. They believed in a lot of stuff. Advice for writer's block: take a break. Go enjoy some media. And it's likely something will inspire. Or just go out with friends and talk about... You know what I realize helps me think of a lot of ideas? Just go out with friends and talk about your story. And then you might come up with stuff as you're describing it. Because when I go to friends and I talk about myths or I talk about my card game, sometimes it helps me think of new ideas for the card game just to talk about it with friends. So that's some of the best advice I can give. Ares being ruthless doesn't really mean he's good, though. Yeah, technically. But, I think Ares is more effective in battle. I'm not sure. I feel like Tyr... I don't know for sure. And hold on, I need to just text this person that I can't answer their call right now. I'm live right now. Isn't Thoth a god of games? Yeah, you could say that, but I think there was a god more specific for it. If you could be any god, who would... I already said I would be a god of partying. So if you're talking about a specific god, I want to probably be Dionysus or Hermes. Mars versus Ares, who would win? They're the same guy. They're the same guy. Mars, because Mars is the Roman version, and Romans are always made the gods tougher and more battle heavy. Who would win in a fight between Heracles and Achilles before godhood? Heracles, I think. Yes, people might like to argue, well, Achilles has the impenetrable skin. Yeah, Heracles has the impenetrable lion skin. And you know what? Heracles, by defeating the Nemean lion, has already shown he can defeat something without piercing its skin. So I think Heracles would win that fight 100%. Yeah, I agree with Andrew. His advice works with me. Great, glad to hear that. If you could live in any of the 9 realms in Norse mythology, which one would you live in? Asgard. I'd love to feast and drink and party with people. That sounds great. So probably Asgard. Isn't Khonsu? Yeah, that's who it was. It was Khonsu. Yeah, because Khonsu with the game that he played, like for like Nut to win the 5 days. Yeah, that's who it was. Why did Disney make Hades a bad guy? Because it was a time when Hades was associated with the devil, so that's why. Like everyone was making him the bad guy. I'm super late, but happy Pride. Okay, are you part of the LG? No, I'm straight. Sorry. Great pun. The fact that Kronos defeat Uranus. Okay. Mars is basically Ares and Athena. Okay, yeah, you could say that. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, would you rather be Sun Wukong for a day or be Odin for a day? Ooh, that's interesting question. Odin basically would make both would be cool to be, but I'd say Odin because then I'd get to party in Asgard for a day, and that's what I would really like to do. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna skip questions. I've already answered this stream. God of War, Kratos versus all the great gods at once. Who would win? I think Kratos would lose that fight. He barely beat Zeus, so if he was fighting him along with all the others, I think he would lose. Honestly, Kratos versus Huitzilopochtli. Who would win? That I desperately want to see. That would be amazing. But Kratos would win because he's the main character. Who do you think is the more beautiful female goddess, Aphrodite or Kali? I think objectively Aphrodite is the more good-looking one, but Kali is so awesome. I would love to hang out with her. Okay. Have you watched Record of Ragnarok? Yes, and I made a video about it. You guys can check that out. Have you seen Yokai Watch? No, I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my list of things to check out. Cool, Kane. Thank you. Mythology Guy in Greek myth, is Chaos a boy or a girl, or is it not mentioned? It's not mentioned, I think. But I think they were leaning more towards him being male because he created Nyx, and then together from them came the other gods. I think Chaos was supposed to fill the male role, while Nyx was supposed to fill the female role. So I would say, well, it's technically not set in stone. It's leaning more towards him being male. I imagine Hades as a dad with black hair and toga who just chills, loves his job and his wife. I would want to chill with that dude. Yeah, sounds about like how he is. Well, I don't think he just chills. I think he works really hard, running the underworld. I think it's a really tough job. Hades for a day or Anubis for a day? Well, Hades has a gorgeous wife, so Hades. Oh, and Hades has a dog, so Hades. I want to play with the dog. Have you read Dante's Inferno? A little bit. I've also played the video game, so yeah. Video game's awesome. I might stream it on Twitch or this channel at some point. Asgardians versus Egyptians? I think Asgardians would probably win. I think the ace in the hole Egypt has is Ra, given how incredibly raw powerful he is. But overall, it would probably be the Asgardians, because again, they're always preparing for war. Egyptians aren't doing that. Egyptians are more preparing for death, honestly. As much as I love Kratos, I have to admit there are a few characters that could beat Kratos, like Goku. Well, yeah, definitely. Kratos versus all the Avengers? Oh, God. I think Hulk could probably beat Kratos. Hasn't Hulk defeated gods before? Because of the Loki series, people are saying Wednesday is Loki's day, but it's Odin's day. Yeah. I would almost prefer hanging out with Hathor over Aphrodite. Well, yeah. I mean, Aphrodite's, like, even though she's good looking, she's still a terrible person. Who would win, Hercules or Tony with the Hulkbuster? Hercules. He'd fucking punch right through that thing. Who would win between... okay, I already answered that. Oh, there. And now the chat has jumped way down. Thanks to you, every time an animal stares at me, I can hear Candy Shot playing in the background. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's wonderful. So I commented an arachne pun on one of your videos, and then a few days later you made your own. I thought that was awesome. Oh, cool. Yay. Yeah. I'm glad you think that's awesome. Woohoo. I mean, was that one of the ones where I asked you if I could use it and then I used it? Because I've done that a few times. Everyone thinks the most underrated god is Hades, but he's always represented and a lot of people love him, so I think it's not true anymore. Yeah, but you know, he's been so often represented wrongly, so I don't know. I gotta leave. Let me finish reading that. Sorry, bud, I gotta leave earlier. Gotta get cheese. Ran out and gotta get more. Well, thank you for being here, Soul Silver. Cerberus versus Fenrir. Reminder: Fenrir is armed. I think Fenrir would win that fight. Fenrir was able to defeat Odin in a fight, so I think Fenrir would win between him and Cerberus. Have you thought of making a video about Myth Kratos versus God of War Kratos? Yeah, I've thought about it, and you know, I might do it in the future. I did a fun fact about Kratos where I talk about it. Would you rather do it with Aphrodite or get beaten by Zeus? Aphrodite, you know, might as well have fun. I say this again: Freya over Aphrodite any days. Yeah, totally. Freya's a good person. Aphrodite is pretty goddamn awful. Hades basically has a list of challenges for mortals that enter the underworld. Yeah, I did a video about that called Hades Granting Favors. Okay, I'm gonna head out now. Bye. Bye, DeWatt, mate. Is Kratos stronger than Record of Ragnarok Zeus? I think so, yeah. I actually thought Record of Ragnarok Zeus was weaker than mythological Zeus would be. So, yeah. Every god is represented wrongly. Yeah, true. Are there gods that directly traveled to another culture and was worshipped by both? I think there are some of those. I don't know. There's a lot of cultural overlap, so I mean, you could make the argument that, you know, since Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan are the same god, you could say that's one god traveling to two different cultures. I made a video joking about that. Frey versus Freya, I think Freya would win that fight, personally. What most gods think of Kratos, but he hasn't even aged. I mean, like, at all. He just grew that stupid beard and looks like he'll be here forever. I don't know if I can handle that. Samson versus Gilgamesh versus Heracles and Thor. Oh my god. I think Thor would win that fight. Would you rather have the Blades of Chaos or the Leviathan Axe? Leviathan Axe, because Blades of Chaos, like, you have to strap them to yourself, and also, like, you know, you can't get rid of them. Kratos tried to get rid of them, he can't get them. Leviathan Axe, I think, would be fun to just to play around with. Throw and come back. Throw and come back. I think that's a lot of fun. So I would like to have the axe. What weapon from the gods would you like to have and use? Okay, so we're kind of just on that, but I don't need any weapon of the gods, so it's like, what would I like to have and use? I don't know. Sun Wukong's staff, because it extends, and that way, when I want something, I can just extend the staff over to it and lift it and retract it back to me. It is the ultimate tool of laziness. Is Record of Ragnarok Lu Bu stronger than Kratos? No, definitely not. Man, everyone's talking about Kratos. Actually, Zeus was in Egypt, I think. That's why there was a temple for him. Alexander the Great found the temple of Zeus in Ammon, something like that, if I recall. Yeah, when there was a lot of interaction between Greeks and Egyptians. So yeah, you could definitely say some of the Greek gods, since they were technically worshipped in Egypt, fill that role. And in an attempt to make the two get along better, Serapis was created, a god who is in both Egyptian and Greek mythologies. Leviathan versus Kraken. Those two characters are too obscure for me to properly give you an answer to that, I think. Riptide or Jason's coin? Riptide. I think the whole pen thing is cooler. If Kratos adopted Percy Jackson, would Percy become Big Boy? Oh my god. Oh man. The real Zeus is King Henry VIII. Oh yeah, because he had all the wives and he kept killing them. I could see that. Notice me, Senpai. I notice you, Death Lord 999. I notice you. Poppin' Plush says, video idea. That sounds a little incomplete. Is Zeus stronger than Sun Wukong? I would probably say Zeus has more raw power than Sun Wukong, but Sun Wukong is way more crafty in a fight. So Sun Wukong, given the kinds of people he's able to outwit, I think Sun Wukong would actually win that fight. He'd probably lightning rod Zeus's thunder with his staff, and then, yeah, he'd probably beat him. After Disney tried copywriting the Norse gods' names, oh my god, did they actually try that? Do you think they'll try copywriting Hercules? I think they would learn their lesson after that, how stupid that idea was. So I don't think they'll try that. But then again, if they were dumb enough to do it in the first place. Are there any underworld gods that are actually evil? Well, there's Satan, so that's one. People argue about whether or not hell is evil from Norse mythology. So that one's kind of up for debate. Anubis is not, Osiris is not, Hades is not. Iapetus, he was the titan of the underworld before the gods took over, and he was evil. He was a titan of pain and torture. So, yeah, Iapetus is one. Mictlantecuhtli from Aztec. I mean, again, that one's also kind of debated whether or not he's evil. Yama is not evil. I can tell you that for sure. The Morrigan is not really evil. Iran, again, that one you could say is probably evil with his hunting dogs and everything. So yeah, there mainly Iapetus is an evil underworld deity. Who is faster, Hermes or Ratatoskr? Probably Hermes, I mean, there's nothing to suggest Ratatoskr is essentially super fast. He goes up and down the world tree, but we don't know how long it takes him to do it. Video idea, Zeus in Japan. Well, could probably do something with that. Yeah. Oh god, yeah, Zeus trying to seduce the women and them all turning out to be monsters. That could be kind of funny, actually. Again, I don't know if you... Well, sorry, I was reading that. Again, don't know if you answered, but I have a video idea. I want to see a sketch where Hades and Hephaestus and Dionysus are talking about how they're misrepresented, and Ares chiming in too. That could be kind of funny, yeah. That's a good idea. Amaterasu versus talked about that earlier. Satan is not the ruler of hell. Yes, he is. He's both a prisoner in hell and the warden of hell. It's like, sorry if I was spamming. I don't think you were spamming. I didn't see you multiply asking that question. What if Deimos from God of War was in Disney? Okay. He'd be misrepresented. What else do you want me to say? Also, Deimos from God of War is not an actual mythological character, so there's no reason he would ever be in Disney. Do you think Poseidon and Hades, if they teamed up, could defeat Zeus? It depends on the version, because there's two different versions as to how powerful Zeus is. One says Zeus alone is more powerful than all the other gods put together. So in that version, definitely can't beat him. But then there's another version where when Hera's setting up the coup against Zeus, they say that Poseidon is the only one who could possibly defeat Zeus. So in that version, if Poseidon was teamed up with Hades, I think they would win. So there, that's a question with two answers. Do you think the Epic of Gilgamesh could be adapted into a Hollywood movie or a TV series? I think it would be way better as a series, given the length of it and the things they encounter in it. I don't think a movie would be able to do it proper justice. Does Japanese mythology have an all-father? Yes, Izanagi. Izanagi is the father of so many Japanese gods, so you could definitely say he's the father. He's the father of Amaterasu, who becomes queen of the gods. So yeah, Izanagi is the all-father of Japan. What was the relationship between Izanami and Amaterasu? Did they love each other? They never even met. So no, you can't say they did. They never met. Amaterasu is not Izanami's daughter. Amaterasu is the daughter of Izanagi and the water he used to wash out his eyes. So that's how Amaterasu was born. What do you think if Loki met Set? They would become friends? Yeah, I think so, because they're both perpetrators of chaos. I think they would get along very well. When you hear a myth different, do you think it's wrong or a new way of looking at it? I usually start off by thinking it's a new way of looking at it. Then I try to look at the context of how that myth came about, usually. What's up, man? What's up to you, Captain Jones? Good to have you here. If Kratos were a princess, who would be the prince? Lao Fei, I guess. Does Buddha beat Zeus? I don't think Buddha would beat Zeus in a fight. Buddha doesn't even fight. So, no, I don't think he would. Unless you're talking about the fighting Buddha. Okay, so I was thinking of the wrong Buddha. But no, I don't think Buddha would beat Zeus in a fight, honestly. Zeus or Odin, I already answered. Odin would win that fight. I think it's funny Zeus acts out and constantly cheats, yet Kronos never swallowed him. Okay. I mean, you can definitely still say Zeus has daddy issues because he grew up without a father. Like, yeah. Satan lives on Earth, only goes to hell at the end of times after Armageddon. Okay, I'm not. I've already told you. I don't know what else to tell you, honestly. What about Chernabog and Baphomet? Aren't they considered evil underworld gods? I don't know enough about them yet. I'm still studying Slavic myths, so you may very well be right. Is the boulder Izanagi used to seal up the underworld magic? I mean, I think it would have to be. Otherwise, how would it keep, the guys in there? Like, if it's just a regular boulder. So, yeah, I would think so. I would think it's magic. Will you read the Record of Ragnarok manga? I'm planning to. Yeah, I do want to pick it up and check it out. You should keep an eye on Black Myth Wukong. I heard you like the Monkey King. The game is coming out 2023. Okay, I have 3 different videos where I'm discussing Black Myth Wukong. One is a reveal reaction, the other is a reveal analysis, and the third is a reaction to the second trailer. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on that game. It is currently probably my most hyped game, and I'm definitely going to buy it when it comes out. Hello to you too, Addy. All right. Ooh, I've been tagged in a few comments. Actually, does Buddha have any powers? I'm trying to research it online, but couldn't find it. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, he's got enlightenment, and people claim that comes with a lot of power. So, it's hard. Like, Buddha's this is why I'm saying Hindu is a little hard sometimes, because they're very symbolic, and I can't give you a definite answer. I'm sorry. Who would win, Percy Jackson with Riptide or Magnus Chase with Jack? I feel like if it was just a fair fight, Percy would win. He has way more experience and has fought bigger threats than Magnus has. But if Magnus just cheated and activated Jack's fight him without any ability, then Magnus would probably win. Asclepius versus Thoth. Brains against brains. I think Thoth would win that fight because Thoth is like the god of knowledge. I think he would know. I think he's a lot smarter than Asclepius. Would you make more videos about Egyptian mythology? Yeah, for sure. I make videos as I think of them, basically. Hecate versus Anubis magic control. Okay, if they're having a duel of magic, Hecate would probably win. But if they're having an actual fight, I think Anubis might win that. Who do you think is more powerful, Ravana or Ravana or Bhishma? Ravana got defeated by Sahasrabhu, who got killed by Parshurama, and a lot of long names. And Bhushan defeated Parashuma, but Ravana still got angry. Many feats I can't ignore. I think Ravana would win that fight. Ravana's got like freaking 10 arms with all these weapons. And wasn't it Rama who defeated Ravana? Like, and Rama was an avatar of the great god Vishnu. And yeah, I think Ravana would beat Bhishma. Yeah, Bhishma is an awesome freaking character in the Mahabharata, but I don't think he could beat Ravana. Pele versus Kamapuaa. We've already seen what happens there. They just start boning. Which mythologies do you think would make for great video games? Oh, it is currently like one of my goals in life to make a Heracles video game. I think that would make for an awesome video game, and I hope nobody does it before I do, because I want to do it. I really want to do it someday. Have you read Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunter Chronicles? I haven't, but Wilda has, my partner. She's read Cassandra Clare. Also, I think you could make a really cool video game about Krishna. I think the Pandava brothers would make a fantastic multiplayer game, honestly. I also think the Odyssey could be a cool game. Almost any myth could make an amazing video game, honestly. I don't know why people don't just do more of adapting an actual myth into a video game rather than making up new stuff. Like, it's a great way to tell stories. Like, that's why I think Dante's Inferno is amazing. Can we get more stuff like that? Sun Wukong versus Thor. Thor is, again, kind of like I said with Zeus, Thor is definitely more powerful, but Sun Wukong is more Yeah, Thor like couldn't handle Utgard Loki because of Utgard Loki's trickiness, and I think Sun Wukong is way more tricky. So Sun Wukong would win that fight, I think. At Cthulhu versus Amit. Cthulhu, of course, Cthulhu. You know how powerful Cthulhu is. Amit is awesome, but Amit is just a monster. He doesn't have godly powers or anything. Which god do you think is the most normal? Hestia. Hestia just, chills. That's why I think she'd be nice to hang out with. Nice to be with. Is it Heracles or Hercules? It's, in the original Greek, it's Heracles. Hercules is the Roman name. And honey, you mean Huncules. Yeah, that was... I put up a poll about that, and everybody picked Huncules. Have you read Sea of Trolls? No, I have not. Billy Joel has to leave now. Goodbye, Billy Joel. Glad to have you here. Friendly reminder to everyone that we have a peach boy, a meatball boy, and a rock monkey in Myth. Yes, we do. What's your opinion on Record of Ragnarok being banned in India because of Shiva being overpowered by Zeus? Well, I think that's stupid, but that's just... it's other countries for you. Sometimes stuff gets banned for silly reasons. Stuff gets banned for dumb reasons in China all the freaking time. I don't know. Other countries don't have freedom of speech. Like, there are some that do, some that don't. I guess India just isn't one of them, unfortunately. Would Medusa have, like, the most awesomest revenge payback story of all time? Okay, I'm not really sure what you're saying. Nice Big Bang Theory shirt. Ha. How dare you? Cerberus versus the Chimera. Ooh. Boo. Probably the Chimera, honestly. I mean, the Chimera breathes fire, so like Cerberus probably. If Cerberus could get close, he could probably win, but he probably wouldn't even be able to get close. Favorite god is Hades. What? Okay. Does Irish mythology have an all-father? Yeah, the Dagda. The Dagda is basically the guy of that in Irish myth. Do you hope we will get a more brutal Thor in God of War Ragnarok, kind of like in the animated short on YouTube called Thorryboard? I haven't seen that, but yes, I do hope Thor is very brutal in Ragnarok, especially with how they've built him up in the previous game. Like, he better be brutal, honestly. Do you think Cerberus is a good doggo? Yeah, I'm sure he is. What if Disney made Ithaga movie? That's a Cthulhu character. I don't think that would work at all. If the Heracles game doesn't work out, a team-based co-op game based on the Argonauts would be a good idea. Yeah, I agree with you. Are you a fan of Rick Riordan? I don't know. Am I? Yes, I am. Okay. Do you like Moloch? I mean, personally, no, I think he's kind of a dick. I don't know. Like, I don't know a ton about his stories, really. Like, ironically, being a Christian, it's one of the religions I've studied the least. Hydra versus Artemis, who would win? Artemis, she would just arrow every single head. That way they don't grow back. She'd just arrow them all through. That's what I think Artemis would do. Jormungandr versus Nidhogg. I think Jormungandr would win that. I think Jormungandr's bigger than Nidhogg. I think they referred to a rumor that Medusa got Ard by Zeus, and then she got transformed into a monster by Hera. Okay, I think you're incorrect there. Medusa got Ard by Poseidon in that story, and then transformed by Athena. I've never heard of it being Zeus. And even that story is a retelling. It's not the original. It's not even the second version. Yeah, but I don't know what they're talking about with I knew that, but I don't know what they're talking about with the whole, like, what do you mean Medusa's gonna get revenge? Like, how is that gonna happen? Whatever happened to the staff that made the land in Japanese myth? Ah, yes, you're talking about the spear that Izanagi used. You know, I think Izanagi just put it to the side because he didn't use it while he traveled through the underworld. He used his sword, which I think was called Totsuko no Tsurugi. Yeah, so I think once he was done using it for creation, he probably just propped it up on his wall or something. In Record of Ragnarok, which god should Simohaya, the Finnish White Death, should face? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't have guessed any of the pairings they have in Record of Ragnarok, to be honest. So I don't know. What if... Okay, enough with the questions about what if Disney made Kratos, what if Disney made God of War. The answer to all of those is it wouldn't work. That's it. That's the answer. Okay, I'm not going to answer those anymore. Captain Jones has to leave. Oh, well, thank you so much for dropping by. Thank you. It was good to have you here. Okay. All right. Video on Finn McCool? Yeah, I'll do that in the future. I'm planning to. Have you seen The Mummy from 1999? If yes, did you like it? Yeah, honestly, I love that movie. That movie's a ton of fun. The CGI is terrible, but it's still a fun movie. Which Greek god is the most willing to put on a dress and act like a Disney princess in a movie about themselves? My money's on Apollo or Dionysus. I would say Apollo. That sounds like something Apollo would definitely do. Who do you like the most in Norse mythology? Loki. I love how he'll do just about anything for a joke, and I respect that. Also, his stories are very entertaining. Would 3 mimics kill a Cerberus? I mean, it depends on what they're mimicking. If they're mimicking Cerberus, then it's 3 Cerberuses against Cerberus, of course. Or, oh, no, are you talking about the little chest things? If so, I don't think so, no. Show us your sexy legs. Okay, Behold my hairy leg. Behold my other hairy leg. Hope you got something out of that. Does English mythology have an all-father? I don't know. Who's hotter, Athena or Artemis? Ooh, that's all. I don't know. Probably Athena, because I don't think Artemis, like, since Artemis has completely forsaken relationships ever, I don't think she cares how she looks at all. So maybe Athena. That's not a bad thing, Artemis. You do you. I'm just answering the question. Naga versus World Serpent rap battle. Who would win? I'm going to say the World Serpent would, because the World Serpent is a child of Loki. And I'm sure you get quite a tongue from that. Have you ever heard of Warframe? I've heard of it, but I know almost nothing about it. If you were to put all the gods into a battle royale, who would win in Norse and in general? So many questions about who would win in a fight. My God. Who would win in Norse? Thor, I think. I think Thor would win that fight. He's got Mjolnir, and he's got Jarngripnir and Meyingjard. Thor, I think, is the most powerful being in Norse myth. Whoa, you're getting demonetized for them legs. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Loki versus Artemis, who would win? Personally, I think Artemis would win. I honestly think it would probably be Loki, because I think he would use his clever trickery to win, I don't think Artemis is used to hunting things that try to trick her. You are really a great teacher, by the way. Oh, thanks. Cool. Hermes versus Loki in a rap battle. Again, I think Loki would win that. The Norse gods have these things called flightings, which are basically rap battles in and of themselves. So I think Loki would have more experience in that avenue. Have you heard of Yes, I've talked about Overly Sarcastic Productions a few times, and I highly recommend them. What starter Pokemon would each Greek god have? Oh my God. Well, obviously Poseidon would have Squirtle. Pikachu would probably go to Zeus. Demeter would probably pick Bulbasaur, and Ares would probably pick Charmander. Hades would probably just be sitting over here with his ghost types and psychic type Pokemon. That kind of stuff. I think it's pretty obvious which god would pick which. I think Artemis would have a dog Pokemon for a hunting dog. So, maybe evolutions or something. I don't know. Who do you think would be a better car driver out of the Egyptian gods? How? What? What are the names of Odin's wolves? Gary and Freki. Car driver in Egyptian. Where would I even get that kind of info? And I guess if we were talking Greek, it would probably be Karen, but in Egyptian, who pilots the sunboat? I mean, it was Ron Sekhmet, then it was Ron Set, then it was Ron Bast. So I don't know, one of them. What are all the primordials? Oh God, there's so many, man. There's Chaos, who is Chaos. Nyx, who is Night. Erebus, who is Darkness. Tartarus, who is Tartarus. Gaia, who is Earth. Uranus, who is Sky. Pontus, who is Water. The Egyptians have Ma'at, Order. Those are the ones that come to mind. Hades would have all the doggo Pokemon. Oh yeah, good point. Before I go, what about Punderworld? Are you saying you want an underworld pun? Okay. You know how popular Hades is? Everyone's dying to meet him. How about that? But he doesn't talk to anybody in the underworld because they're all dead to him. What type of advice would you give a person who is about to go on a date with an undead Japanese ghost girl? Don't do it. That would be my advice. Don't. Why would you do that? You don't. Why would you date an Onryo? That's just a grudge waiting to happen. Have you ever wanted to make your own mythology? I think a little bit when I was a lot younger, but nowadays I just have fun enjoying the mythologies that exist. Hypnos versus Zeus, who would win? Hypnos would run to his mother, and then Zeus would give up. That's literally what happened in one of the stories. Hey, I just recently discovered your channel. Huge fan now. Thank you. That's wonderful to hear, Ephraim. I'm back. I stole Izanagi's spear. Oh, well, put it back. You might cause trouble there. I think Houndoom is a better match for Hades. You know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Punderworld is a web comic. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, well, I should check that out on the channel at some point, honestly. That sounds... Oh, wait, yeah, somebody mentioned that before. Oh, right. Yeah, somebody did mention that before. Okay, yeah, I should definitely check that out. Cert versus Typhon. I think Typhon would win. Because when Typhon, like, all the Greek gods together were barely able to beat him. So I think Typhon would beat Cert. Would you rather have Thanatos' job or be a son of Zeus? Be a son of Zeus. I don't want to escort people to the underworld forever. Like, enough about silly questions. When do we legalize the cult and take over the world? We are at your service and we are alive. Oh my god. You guys are insane and I love you. I might give it back. We'll find out next stream. Is there a mythology you would like to know more of? Yeah, pretty much all of them. Like, because I don't know everything. I always want to learn more. Right now I'm trying to learn more Filipino and Slavic and Polynesian, so you could say those. I also do need to learn more Native American, so that's another one. There's always more for me to learn. Follow up to a previous question. Can I link Storyboard? It's a great short little animation about brutal Thor. Go ahead. It was me who mentioned Punderworld last week. Oh, wasn't that ironic? Jeez. Typhon versus Apophis? Oh, I think Apophis would win that one. Apophis can literally swallow the sun whole. I think he would just swallow Apophis. Or if he couldn't swallow I would just swallow Typhon. But if he can swallow Typhon, even he would just swallow the whole Earth with Typhon in it. Typhon is small enough to fit under Mount Etna. He is not going to beat Apophis in a fight. What's your favorite card you've made for the game so far? Oh, that's like asking me to choose my favorite kid. I don't... Probably Hades, just because he's my favorite god, and I'm really happy with how his art came out. According to you, which god's existence does not make sense? There are so many superfluous gods that don't need to exist. Gods of the same thing, even. There's a lot of gods that don't really make sense. Like, again, like the whole Anubis and Onput thing. Onput is just female Anubis. It's like, why? Like, did that need to happen? So yeah, I would say any of the superfluous gods who are basically just copies of other gods. Those are the ones that don't make sense. If Cerberus actually eats a person trying to make it into the underworld, would that person hit the spot? Nice. I already said what my age was. I'm not saying it again. Hello from Greece. I love your channel. Wow, thank you. That's wonderful to hear. Have you done any Mayan content? I think just the one video about Kukulkan. I think that's it. But there will be more eventually. Yeah, sorry about the lack of that. What would you think of a water ghost type Pokemon based on the Bake Kujira? I would love that. That'd be awesome, like a ghostly version of Wailord or something. I love the Bake Kujira. And the Bake Kujira is going to be in the game, by the way, at launch. So, yay. I gotta go, Mythology Guy. I'm so glad you got to answer some of my questions. Bye, man. Stay safe and blessed. Thank you very much, Swift Python. That's very nice to hear. Thank you for joining us. Have you ever heard of Cuchulainn? Yeah, the Celtic Irish warrior. Yeah, with the great Salmon leap and everything. Yeah, I know Cuchulainn, the Hound of Cullen. Sup, love your YouTube channel. Thank you very much, Seth. A Percy Jackson books rating. Love from Greece. Shorts are awesome. It would take me a long time to rate them all, but I will just tell you my favorite one is The Last Olympian. That's my favorite one. I might do a tier list of them in the future. Maybe that'll be a good way to handle it. Do you know about the Greek god Priapus? Yeah, I mean, what was he about? I know him. I've talked about him with someone before. I don't remember. I'd have to refresh my memory on that one. There are so many freaking characters, and honestly, I don't really have the best memory. I'm doing the best I can here. Hey, why start another quote? Hades gets the bad guys or the ladies, since Minthia and Persephone are baddies. Oh my god. Did you know that my wife, Gersemi, is a Valkyrie and she is the goddess of riches? You're married to a Valkyrie. Wow. Good for you, man. Thank you for making me smile every day. I have to go because of school. Hope you have a good day. Thank you so much, Seth. That's so nice to hear. Aw. Mr. I Get Girls says, are humans themselves a mythological creature since some of the monsters actually are corrupt versions of them? Example, vampire, werewolf, flat earthers. You could definitely say that. Good night, Myth Guy. Maybe next week, Punderworld. Yeah, maybe at some point. I would like to check out Punderworld, maybe in a live video. I think that would be a lot of fun. You know, I wrote a story on No Sleep about Japanese yokai, and if ever you wanted, you would be more than welcome to read it here on your channel. Do you have Reddit or no? I don't have a Reddit personal account, but I can always read Reddit stories, so that's interesting. Feel free to link it to me or send me a link on Instagram or something. And I'd be happy to check it out. Who would win, Freya or Tyr? I don't know. I mean, Freya is Queen of the Valkyries, Tyr's God of War. I don't know if losing a hand made Tyr more vulnerable or not. I'm just going to say Freya, maybe. Tyr probably wouldn't even want to fight her. What happened to Uranus after Kronos emasculated him? Did he die? Some say he died, some say he just left. Like, I personally think what might have happened was, yeah, he got his junk chopped off, and then he just retreated out into space and didn't come back. Why the Friends t-shirt? Would you like to say more about it? This is just what I'm wearing. I love Friends. It's my favorite show. So, yeah. Pivot. Priapus is the guy with the huge donger. Yeah, that's who he is. The god of, like, erections. That's who it was. Jeez Louise. Are you aware of any gods or demigods who can beat the Hindu trinity? I mean, probably just maybe some of the Greek primordials could beat them. I know there's a comic where they all defeated by like the Greek or the Norse gods, but you know, I really don't think that Thor could defeat the Hindu trinity. Yeah. Gotta go, man. Really glad you answered some of the questions. Only YouTuber. I try to always stay in the live streams. Keep it up. Well, thank you very much, Atori. That means a lot to me. That's sweet. What do you know about Nephilim? Are you talking about Niflheim? Because Niflheim in Norse myth is the realm of ice, if that's what you mean. Or if you're talking about something else, I'm sorry if I misunderstood. Is it possible to turn the grudge ghost into a succubus grudge ghost? I wouldn't know how to. I mean, succubuses are from, like, aren't those from, like, Abrahamic mythology? Whereas the grudge ghost is very clearly based on the Onryo, which is a Japanese creature. So, no, I don't think you could do that. I'm a leave because I want to play Adopt Me. Okay, good for you, man. Apollo versus Artemis, I already went over that. Thor versus Zeus, already went over that. Gotta go to the candy shop. Is Cerberus a dog? Yeah, he's a 3-headed dog with a snake tail. The fact that they removed Friends on Canadian Netflix makes me livid. They took it off American Netflix too, and I was sad about that. But I've already seen the whole show like 5 times, so I guess it's not a huge difference. You're lagging quite badly? I am? Oh. Shoot. Other than Horus Set's ranch dressing battle, what's the strangest myth you've encountered in Egyptian mythology? Oh God. Look up the birth of Tefnut and Shu. That's a weird one. Their parent basically did himself into his mouth. I'm not going to go into detail. My God. Yeah, that's one of them. Nyx versus Erebus. I think Nyx would probably win that one. Nyx created Erebus, didn't she? I like how your eyes are covered by your hair and yet your acting goes right through me. God bless. Keep guessing which god. All right, cool. How are you? I'm okay. Nephilim are the half angel, half human thing. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that. Shoot, yeah, they even talk about that in the Devil May Cry series. Yeah, that's another thing. You're not lagging for me, dude. It might just be happening for Salad de Potato Elf then. You are good now, no lag. Okay, cool. Which of the major Aztec gods would be best at YouTube? I don't think any of them would be good at YouTube. I mean, I don't think Aztec mythology and the internet really go together. Bali versus Hercules. I think Hercules would win that fight. We are closing in on 2 hours, so I am going to have to wrap it up soon. So I'm going to try to power through you guys' questions. Is any part of the Hades game real, mostly about Zagreus trying to escape the underworld? No, that's a made-up story. But the stories they reference in the Hades game are all very accurately done. So that's admirable. What mythology do you think should be part of the Riot universe? I went over this. I would like to see Aztec in Japan. Do you know any Jewish myths? A little bit. One of my favorite things in Jewish culture is the golems. Those are really cool. Do you think that if Anubis was suddenly swapped with Hades, Persephone would actually notice anything? Or would she just think her husband was suddenly wearing eyeliner? Well, since Anubis is the head of a jackal, I think she would notice something, honestly. I think Native American or Celtic would be cool in the Riot universe. I agree with you. If if all mythologies are real, where do you want to live? If they were all real, I would probably want to live in India because at least their gods try to take care of them mostly. What should your nickname be? You can just call me Mythology Guy or whatever. Like, there was a time when people called me Drew for a short time, but it didn't really catch on. I don't need sleep. I need answers. I got to leave, but you're too cool to leave. Don't worry. We're almost done, but thank you so much for sticking around. It means a lot to me that you enjoy it that much. Thor versus Zeus would win. That's a hard one. But possibly Thor because he does have Mjolnir and Mjolnir is incredibly powerful. And I feel like he could just conduct whatever lightning Zeus throws at him and then he would hit Zeus in the face with Mjolnir and that would be it. Is the Hades game good? Yeah, it's very good. I would recommend it, but it is a specific gameplay style that isn't for everybody. So just check it out and see if you like it. Was dinosaurs a pre-war thing or a pre-war thing? I'm not sure what you're asking. Could Bill Cipher beat all the Greek gods? No, I don't think so. I know who you're talking about from Gravity Falls. I think that if the Greek gods put their powers together, they could overcome it. Especially, I think Hecate could find a way to counter Bill Cipher. Seriously, though, I think you should really make a FAQ instead of answering the same questions every stream. You have a good point there. Yo, have you ever read Record of Ragnarok? No, not yet. I've watched the anime, though. Loki versus Hermes in a battle of pranks would win. Already answered that. I think Loki would win. Would you believe the theory that all the religions are real in a situation, but all the gods are demons and just video games slowly being deleted? No, I don't believe in that. Favorite archangels in King of Hell? I don't have a favorite King of Hell. If you're talking about Christianity, I mean, because I don't really support that character. Can you talk about Diomedes? Nobody talks about the man who slayed Ares and Aphrodite and is blessed by Athena. Okay, I can try to talk about him in the future, sure. Which gods would be a good wife or girlfriend? Hestia. I think Hestia would be the best one. I think she would be the most wholesome person to be one. Almost done. Why? This is fun. I don't want to return to hell. Oh, that's so sweet of you to say. Thank you, Marinus. Would Anubis owning a dog be the equivalent of Goofy pet sitting Pluto? Yes, I think it would be, honestly. Who is the most powerful across all mythology? Probably Chaos from Greek myth. Either Chaos from Greek myth or Ma'at from Egyptian. Goku versus other gods, who would win? I think Goku would be able to beat all basic gods, but not primordials. That's what I think. His nickname is King Andrew, Lord Mythology Guy, God of mythical wisdom. Are superhero comics the new mythology? Yes, that's what a lot of people have said. From where did you learn about all the myths? Already answered that earlier. Have you seen the TV show Supernatural? Not yet, but I'm planning to, and I'm planning to do videos on it. Goku, already answered that. Who do you think the narrator from the Hades game is? My guess is Aeschylus. You can buy a bust of the narrator, and it looks like him. I think it's Homer. Isn't like that the idea? Yeah, I think it's Homer. Gotta go. I have to sleep. Good to have you here, Nunga Slayer. Does mythology Thor actually spin his hammer, or is that just a Marvel? I think that's just a Marvel concept. Hestia is Bestia. Yes, she is. My Japanese ghost queen is calling for me. I must retreat. See you later. What? Well, it's been 2 hours. We should offer blood sacrifices to bring back the Mayan gods. Oh my god. Sun Wukong versus the big three. I think if it was all big, I don't think Sun Wukong could beat all three of them together. Is there anyone more wholesome than Hestia? I don't think so. Do you think that Cerberus does 3 times the pooping since he's intaking 3 times the food at once? You know what? Good point. He's probably got the biggest poops ever, and it's probably a nightmare to clean up. What happens when we die? Only one way to find out. This is the first time anyone has answered my questions in the live chat, and you don't look well. Please take care. I'm totally fine. Don't worry. Was Indrajit more powerful than his father since he almost killed Lakshmana? I think so. I need an overly sarcastic mythology guy collab. If that's ever possible, I'd love to do it. Which do you think like better, Greece or Egyptian? I just default to Greece because I know it more and I knew it longer. I know what you meant by the big three, yeah. He does that. Makes you feel special, doesn't he? Aw. Homer Simpson is the narrator in Hades. Yep, you're absolutely right. It's definitely Homer Simpson. I have to sleep. Love from India. Love right back to you from America. What's your opinion on Hades' dog Cerberus translating the spot? I think it's freaking hilarious, but I also think it might just be a little bit coincidental or something. Are the Amazons superhuman, or is that a comic book thing? That's a comic book thing. They're not superhuman. Heracles took them all out with one swing of his club. Okay. Susano and his siblings versus the big three. Susano and Zeus, I think, would be an amazing fight. But I think Hades and Poseidon are more of a match for Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi. Okay, guys, this is where I have to wrap up. Do you know how many women Zeus slept with? No, there's no way to know. That's an insane amount. All of them. That's how many. Okay, I'm super happy you're answering questions and suggestions. That made my day so much. You rock. Thank you so much, Marinus. Okay, guys, I'm wrapping it up here. Thank you so much for joining me in this live stream. I hope you guys had a good time here. I'm so glad that I didn't lose connection this time. You guys remember the last couple times I lost connection and it was awful, but thankfully the connection stuck around this whole time. Can we have a pun before you go? Okay. Pun before we go. Why would Poseidon be good at this job? Because he knows how to handle a stream. That was terrible. I like your shirt. Thank you. Good luck on your card game. Thank you so much. Love to get it around Christmas this year. I'd love to get it to you. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you for the donations. Gamer de Potato Salad Elf. Thanks, Zagard, for that gigantic donation. That was really nice of you, man. You guys are really nice. You guys make me really happy. I am honestly pretty tired, and this is where I'm going to wrap it up and see if I can still make a sketch for today. Probably. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you guys. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.